Hi, Tony Selza here. Welcome to the line. We've got a real treat again. Sunny Lou, VP of Business Development over at Telamon. Telamon is one of the leading technology companies for Indiana. I mean, ExactTarget, Telamon, all that elite list is right there. And one of the pointed questions I want to ask her today, because Telamon has emerged in this market, is how healthcare information is changing and how we are actually going to get to accountable care. Because the answer, my friends, is technology. That is the movement to do that. Not only that, technology in a mobile environment, understanding how to engage a user and help a hospital get paid and all those things. You guys have not only charged into this, guns blazing, you are making some marks. Talk to us about the state of the state and where you see it going.
Yeah, from a generality standpoint, I have 2 words to change the face of healthcare. Open data.
Amen.
New Hampshire is the only state in the union that allows the patient to be the owner of their own personal health information data. Outside of that, it's the providers, it's the payers, which are all well, and I think at the end of the day, for a uneducated patient group, that's all well and good, but we really need to educate the patient as the consumer and really identify pricing transparency and exactly what the next step is in an affordable care plan for your own individual self.
Really, consumerization is what we're talking about. You own your health data. You should.
Exactly.
It's not the hospital that took care of you. It's not the doc. It's not even the emergency room that might have saved your life. And this open environment, it allows the subject matter experts that are there to take care of you the access to make better decisions, and nothing can do that. I'm just sorry. Machine learning is here to stay, and when you aggregate the power of those data points, you allow people to make better decisions, and that's what you're building. Some of that ecosystem is what Telamon is extending. Is that fair?
Absolutely. So when you look at the trends within healthcare, we always have these kind of topical focuses, clinical decision-making tools, EMRs, PHRs. Now we have this whole new trend of population health. But what we don't do a good job of in healthcare is the definition of how does that trend actualize from a data transport, a conversation with the patient, and a buying decision from that consumer patient. So what we've looked at is said, how do we make that data flow simpler? How do we make the information transport to the right resources and to the right individuals simplistic? So in population health, we actually started with, who are the data collection folks out there? That's your trusted advocates in the nonprofit space. That's your mobile health workers, community health workers. Those are folks that are collecting thousands of data sets, millions of data sets across an annualized basis in a paper format.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is say, how can we get you simplified tool sets that you can actually leverage in the field and collect that data point and then transfer that back into the traditional health system, but leave an endpoint for your patient and consumer as well.
And the way I try to help our clients really understand where we're going, it's not about disruptive technology anymore. It's about disruptive business models.
Exactly.
You are Uberizing healthcare, right? I mean, it is a looking at the problem and saying, how do we apply technology to solve the freaking problem?
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of the entrepreneurial spirit that Telemon's carried forward is if there is a better way, you insist on figuring out a way to make the better way accepted.
Exactly.
And partnering with the nonprofits that have the data, finding an end around to get to the providers to create value so they'll play ball and open up a little.
Right.
That's kind of where you've taken your marketing initiative. Is that fair?
It is, and we've done a tremendous amount of research to take a look at where are the quote-unquote reimbursements outside of the traditional CPT code diagnostic reimbursement. So we've looked at federal incentives, state incentives. We've looked at different aspects of how you can actually convert those from uninsured to newly insured, and taking that whole kind of dynamic and building that into a model to say, here's how you can leverage this model in a systematic way, a training, and also full program to convert that patient.
I'm glad you said that, Sonny, because what I think, what technologists have complained about is the open data problem, and that the providers are not sharing that. but they will share it if you're helping them, incentivizing them to get paid, right? You can't not answer that call. And that's really completing that loop. That's the disruptive business model that you guys are taking to market. And I think that's why you're getting the traction you're getting. Is that fair?
I think that is. And ultimately it comes down to a very humanistic element, right? We are all busy, specifically clinicians and those within the health system have an overwhelming amount of work to do on a daily basis. So if technologists come to them and say, hey, let's do this because just open data. There's no what's in it for me scenario.
Right.
The what's in it for me scenario is, and the verbiage should be changed from the technologist side, is how can I help you to achieve your goals in outcomes management, in overall conversion of population health to better outcomes,
patient engagement, all the things that it's technology as enablement, right? I mean, it's having a tool actually make your job easier instead of harder. And I think that's what EHR has had a bad rap, because it didn't make the doc's job any easier.
Right.
It hasn't made their lives any. Every technology adoption they've been pitched has caused them to have a longer and longer work week, and become an impediment into them doing their job. Whereas what you guys are doing is enablement, and that's the significant difference. And I think more businesses need to learn from Telemon's example.
Well, thank you. I think ultimately it comes down to the complexity of the system, and as technologists, you and I both know that the better the standardized process, the more efficient the system. But ultimately, if we don't map it to the existing workflow, it's more and more difficult. What we try to do is really, really oversimplify it and say, within this workflow, with this function, as this user, what is the fastest way you can conduct data entry, data collection, and the overall transport of that to the next handoff clinician to support that patient.
It's an awesome story. I appreciate having you.
Thank you.